Welcome to Savor 2020. We are thrilled to have you with us this evening. The pandemic has been teaching Leaf two really profound lessons: how to adapt and hustle to the ever-changing reality, and what makes us who we really are. This video is a behind-the-scenes look at how Leaf has grown over our first 8 years. It's also an important invitation to invest in Leaf's future. You can do that by donating, participating in our silent auction, or reaching out and figuring out how to get more involved in our organization. I'd also like to thank our three key sponsors this evening. M&T Bank is our lead sponsor, Giant Food Stores is our Savor Box sponsor, and Jacqueline Powell & Associates is our youth sponsor. Thank you to these three organizations for making tonight possible. Next you're going to hear a message from our lead sponsor, M&T Bank, and then we hope you enjoy the show. Thank you.
Hi Heidi, thanks. So M&T is very proud to be this year's lead sponsor for Savor. It's definitely a passion and a mission for M&T to be part of the community and to help our community. M&T has partnered with the Leaf Project for several years now, I think from the beginning, from when it started. And we are so excited to be part of Leaf and to be able to support the mission that Leaf has as far as cultivating their youth, helping to produce leaders in our community. And now more than ever, that is so important with what, we are dealing with. So just a little bit about M&T and how we help in the community, if you're not aware. We have contributed $1.1 million in 2019 back into our communities, into nonprofits. And we also provide 12,000 volunteer hours in our community. And we really feel it's a big part of what M&T believes in, giving back. We sit on boards. We have 34 board seats out in our community. And if you'd like to learn more about what we do as far as nonprofits and giving back, please just go to mtb.com or call me. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. So tonight, more than ever, though, I would really implore everybody to really just think about Leaf and its mission. And ways you can support them tonight is just make a donation, bid in the silent auction, or just share a story about one of the youth. Those are three ways you can help tonight. So between M&T and Leaf, we're hoping to have a great event and look forward to it. Thanks, Heidi.
At its core, Leaf is absolutely about cultivating youth leaders from diverse backgrounds through meaningful work in the food system. So that means that young people join Leaf through a paid summer internship. That's a 7-week commitment in their first summer with us, and their time is half rigorous hands-on work in the food system. And the other half of their time is developing awareness of what they are uniquely good at, what they're passionate about, and how to advocate for that in their lives after Leaf. The initial seed of an idea for Leaf came out of a frustration of what it felt like to isolate kids from each other. And in education, we just have this habit of taking kids who succeed similarly or fail similarly and putting them in isolated spaces. And as an educator, I just kept coming up against this idea of we really need all different kinds of people in the room so everyone can grow.
We wanted the youth to be a part of what they were doing, not because they were told to do it or because they had to do it, or that we were spoon feeding and providing them with something, which is what we felt like we were always doing in education.
During that time, we just had so many conversations talking about how to work with youth in a way that felt, I maybe even a way that trusted them in a different way than we had worked with before. Believing that the youth had something to teach us and to teach each other that we were working with, as opposed to just this really top-down model.
What became immediately clear to us is that we wanted to be partners with the young people that we were working alongside. And the most natural way to do that, for me, for this part of the world, is meaningful work.
To me, meaningful work is work that really matters. It's work that is challenging, and it's work that really makes a difference.
One of the concepts from the very beginning was cultivating the ground while cultivating yourself. But we really didn't know what that meant for who Leaf was going to work with or how that was going to happen.
I think of a lot of awkward moments, a lot of rambling, a lot of not knowing. We were not really sure. We had a vision, we had an idea, but we didn't really know how it was going to turn out, and we didn't know how the youth were going to react.
In another setup, this could be something that they pay for, that they go to, like a college course or like, an adventure camp.
Why not just do a summer camp? Use like a more obvious and easier business model to have people pay you to come be on the farm. And in my head there was this just like cognitive distance, like, oh no way! There's no way that you can ask someone to weave for 3 hours if they're paying you. Like, I want it to go the other way. I want them to feel responsible for the ground, for the outcome of that bed, for the people who get fed by it, and that we're all in partnership. That's an employment model. Those young people are necessary to the process. And a summer camp for the youth, and I wanted a program that was by the youth, with the youth. They were our co-founders, our co-authors of all the big concepts. For us, it was this natural fit that if we ran an employment-based model, we would be able to attract youth from every walk of life. We would be able to build out the leadership opportunities and value every different set of talents and skills along the way in this farm and food business.
This is set up to be full dignity for the youth, that they are actually compensated for their time. And I think that the way that works with a young person's psyche is really cool. I think the LEAF program is a revolutionary concept. We have not yet seen the trajectory of what this is going to do for these kids and how this is going to shape the rest of their lives. And I think it's such a huge missing piece in the rest of their childhood and the rest of their youth and the rest of their education. I'm so excited to see what the LEAF graduates go on to do in their lives and how they can change the world.
And it's up to the adults in the society to create an environment where that can happen. And that's exactly what LEAF is.
The farm is just the tool that we use to teach all sorts of life lessons.
It matters so much to connect everybody to the food and the land, but especially this generation. This generation doesn't have to be the one that makes the changes that are positive for our world. And so for them to make those changes, they need to understand why.
While it is agricultural based, the lessons you learn are so much deeper than that. It's kind of like how sports are obviously athletically based, but the lessons and kind of like the life lessons and skills you get from sports go way beyond any physical activity. It's more so kind of like personal development.
My level 1 experience was like out of this world, like totally, because I went into like different workshops, like diversity workshops, talking about all these different topics that I was deathly afraid to share with anybody at all about my opinions. And food system workshops, learning how far it takes for like trucks to travel to get food to me. Never knew anything about that. Also public speaking workshops. Oh my goodness. I missed out on so many opportunities before just because I did not like public speaking at all.
Farm labor just like brings it all together. Like what we talk about in workshops, we like employ all those things in our farm tasks with the people that we work with.
It's a lot of physical labor, but you know you're doing it for like a good cause.
The youth are involved with all parts of the farm. They follow the plants from the seeding stage to the planting phase to the harvesting phase. And then they even go further than that. So they're involved in washing it and packing it for our farm share. They're involved in helping cook extras into produce that is used in our culinary program that goes out to programs like Salvation Army.
When I first did pack out, packing all the produce and sending it off to families, I think that was really exciting for me because it was like the end stage of what we do here on the farm. When you see it go off, you have that sense of accomplishment and achievement.
It doesn't stop at farming, it doesn't stop at pack out. LEAF allows the youth to work themselves up so that they can manage the inventory, they can write the restaurant invoices, or they can even create the social media content that promotes our produce, that promotes our program. And on top of all of that, we get to learn how to use the produce that we're growing through our culinary program.
The LEAF Project has an awesome culinary program during their summer programming. Every week, they have a chef come in, an area chef, and what they're doing is coming in and teaching the youth certain culinary skills to how to make home-style meals. They all work together in creating that home-style meal so that they eat for lunch. The chef also teaches them how to scale it up. I've been lucky enough to work with the youth on those days where after lunch we've scaled up the recipes and taken it to the Salvation Army in the afternoon and have been able to feed up to 200 people in one day.
We decided to include a culinary program because we knew that the youth were going to be growing vegetables on this farm, and we wanted them to have a way to be able to do something with them, and this way we knew they'd be able to produce food for themselves and their family.
This summer up at the farm was a little different approach. You know, we were cooking outside, so I sort of took a little more simplified approach to what we were preparing. So we did a tomato jam, a spiced tomato jam. So we were utilizing tomatoes right there off of the farm. We then moved on to doing chicken fajitas with homemade flour tortillas, which were all prepared outside. And they just, I think, had a great time.
People just think it's like vegetables, but they're good vegetables. Like, oh my gosh, I love vegetables now. I've learned so many new cooking skills and stuff that I love, like spring rolls. I make those all the time for lunch, and I've never even thought, and they're like really healthy for you.
I remember I brought broccolini home, and I chopped it up and I put it in rice, and my dad looked, he was just so like confused, and then he tasted it and he's like, this is really good. You need to start bringing these things home. When I was tasting, when I was eating, it was just like a different feeling, like, dude, you saw these grow and now they're in your mouth, and it was like an amazing feeling because I know I'm like eating more healthier than I ever did before, and it just makes me feel good about myself.
People need to understand that it is in my eyes, an organic youth-driven program.
The power that youth have here isn't what I expected it to be. Like, I expected myself to have a bigger role. I thought like the whole summer I was gonna have to be like the leader, and it's been nice to kind of just like step back and allow level ones to really take over.
I was like surprised by their maturity and how seriously they took like their roles. I felt like they had invested in something and that they were like part of the team that was making it happen.
One thing that I wish people knew about LEAF is how the youth grow into powerful leaders in our community. These are students from different socioeconomic backgrounds that have been given the tools to have their voice heard.
People think of leader, they think about like the quarterback on a football team or like anything like that. Like, I'm gonna do everything. But it's more just like set an example. Like,
it doesn't mean just telling people what to do. It means by like leading by example, by showing people and teaching them, and then also working with them to help improve their skills and their development as well as yours. So you're both kind of like learning along the way.
And that leadership education is so huge. A lot of youth don't get that at such a young age. They don't get that until their first job after college. And this is setting them up for success well before that, and letting them know it doesn't matter where you come from, but you can get there.
After my first year of LEAF, I just felt really proud of the work I was doing with LEAF, of how far I had come that summer and the responsibilities that I had the chance to take on, because they were very real responsibilities compared to what I as a teenager had before. Things like designing farmers market stands and teaching other youth farming competencies. I was just so proud of the whole process. I was so proud of what I was doing that I just wanted to do it at the highest level.
One of the most meaningful opportunities that I have received at LEAF is to be invited into growing with it. Here we are taught that growth comes from working hard, growth comes from accepting responsibility and from leading others. And I think that being in a role where I have been able to hold a sense of responsibility and share that with the next generation of youth that I was leading was where I felt the majority of my growth come into play.
What I can notice is each year they come in as a level 1 and then you return next year and they're a level 2 or a level 3, or in some cases moving on to a fellowship position with the organization. And you can see a huge growth from year to year, yet alone I have seen just in one season with level 1s where they're very shy in the beginning, hard to get into a conversation with. And within 3 weeks, you go back and it's just nonstop conversation and engaging with them.
I think what makes the Level 1 program work so well is the focus that we have here on intentional diversity. So in an ecosystem, you need a wide array of plants and animals and bugs to make that ecosystem healthy and teeming with life. So here, diversity isn't just looking different. Diversity is seeing different, acting different, thinking different. And it's also being exposed to a variety of challenges. And everyone has their own role to play. And I think that it's the intentional diversity that we have here that really makes the youth thrive.
Say LEAF really did help me become who I am. Like, in all honesty, kind of like, I think I always had it in me, but LEAF gave me the opportunities. It's just insane how whenever you put a group of people together with one common goal throughout the summer, like how close they can get. Although like we don't look like, although we may not even think like, we can seriously get some work done.
Yeah, because like I've always like been friends with people that are like me. So like learning about other people and like seeing what they do, it's kind of I think it's so cool. Just to like see how like other people are. Like you think that's how like you live, but other people can live in a total different way and they're still succeeding and doing all this stuff, and it's just great to see other people succeed like that.
There are people here that I never would have interacted with at school. As someone more quiet and reserved, you would have never imagined I could get along with someone with this loud, bright energy. It turned out that we made a really compatible team for driving systems in the workplace because our personalities really balanced each other out. And as someone who's more like artsy and likes Broadway, you wouldn't think I could hold a conversation with someone like country and into trucks. But I had some of the most insightful and thought-provoking debates with that person. And getting to interact with both of these people, I found that the people with the perspectives most different from mine were my favorite people to work alongside, and those are the people that are going to shape me into the person that I want to be.
One thing that makes LEAF really work is having light, fun moments where we can really connect with each other, which is where games come in. Games are a way for people to build a team and get to know each other, and it makes it so that our meaningful work that we're doing all the time actually is more impactful.
It's so interesting that fun and summer camp are always lumped together. I think fun is an essential part of life and an essential part of any workplace, even as somebody who's a little bit older. Fun allows us a chance to breathe and to appreciate the small things in life and appreciate each other.
It is a very meaningful experience in the fact that we grow close to each other and we play games with each other and spend a lot of quality time with each other. But also a lot of our bond is formed through the work that we do. And we are learning how to love hard work.
It's like family here. Definitely a place that you get to explore yourself, and people here have definitely shaped who I am today, and like that's something that doesn't happen in a very short amount of time.
Like before Leaf, I didn't really know that you could create like an environment like this with like people, like a social environment like this. It's hard to foster an environment where people feel like they can be so open and vulnerable with people so fast, without like feeling like they're going to be like, you know, judged or attacked. So I think that probably the biggest lesson is just that something like that is possible.
I think first it kind of like starts at the top with like the staff. Like I don't think I've ever had like staff members be so like honest and vulnerable to like youth that they work with. It like makes me feel like I'm an equal with staff, which is not the case in a lot of other jobs.
Staff especially have to show vulnerability because as a leader, I think you have to model what you're hoping other people to see. And it's really hard to ask somebody on a daily basis, and let alone in a workshop, to share something incredibly personal about themselves and what they believe without giving a little bit of yourself. And then I think when you engage in that way, we're also saying, I'm not better than you just because I'm older than you, right? Like we can be in this conversation together and be a part of the solution together and walk side by side versus in front or behind each other.
Never in my life have I worked with staff as incredible as the Leaf staff. They push you, but in the most loving way possible. Sometimes in a way that feels like too much for us to bear, but then looking back on it, they've just been incredible moments for us to showcase our growth. They genuinely care about our success of our future. They don't hold expectations of us to be a certain thing, but allow us to shape, and then they adjust to how we are growing on our own. I mean, it's so incredible to feel as a young person the empowerment that they give us here.
If you want to have a world where young people are growing up understanding what it is to do meaningful work, and they're making lives that are engaging regularly in meaningful work, then you should donate to Leaf right now.
It's really important that you invest in Leaf right now so that they continue this great work that they're doing. The total impact that Leaf has had, they have employed 150 youth over the past few years that have personally impacted over 15,000 people in Central PA. So even though Leaf only tracked 15,000, I would bet that that number is way higher, and it's just going to keep growing exponentially with your help.
We need to invest in our youth. They're going to be our future leaders. They're going to be the ones taking care of what we have left behind for them.
Investing in Leaf is so important because this is one of the few opportunities and organizations for young people to really see what a difference they can make in the world. They learn about agriculture, but also food and cooking, and no matter what they take as a career or where they go with that, that basic education is going to help lay the building blocks, the foundation for them to make a difference in their world.
Those like little things is that's the magic of the program, I think. So I wish that there was a way that I could like put it on paper and show it to like people and be like, this is what it does. Like this is really what it does for the young people. So
I think that it's so worthwhile to invest in Leaf because you are investing in more than just a program. You're also investing in the lives of young people. I think we say all the time, this is changing our lives. and like we get the chance to be heard, we get the chance to work hard for the first time. But I think those things like don't even scratch the surface of how much we grow and how much we change. And I personally have just received opportunity on opportunity from Leaf and working with Leaf, working for Leaf, and it has changed my entire life. It has changed my future. It has changed the way that I see the world and the way that I like choose my food, like choose my produce. You know, if I have been invested in so much by this program, and it's just so important and meaningful to give to this program so that we can, so that every young person can be impacted in the way that I have been.